On my son's wedding day, I wore a suit that didn't fit quite right and a smile that fit even less. I paid for flowers, the food, the band. Chose the venue myself, a place he used to love as a boy, when the world was simpler and his loyalty didn't have a price tag. I stood near the back, invisible in a room full of people clinking glasses and dancing over the grave of a family that used to be mine. I watched him laugh, tall, confident, his mother's smile on his face. And when it was time to sit for dinner, I wandered toward the head table, just for a glimpse, just to see. That's when I saw it, a seat with a name card, Mom and Stepdad, right next to him. Another for their dog. The damn dog. No card for me. Not a spot. Not even a stool in the shadows. He looked over, caught my eye, and smirked like this was all some inside joke I'd forgotten the punchline to. "Come on, Dad," he said. "You always like staying in the background. You're just back where you belong." I didn't say a word. Didn't flinch. Just nodded once and walked toward the far wall, back in the hush of silence that always followed me after the divorce. The room swelled with music and fake laughter, 1,000 champagne bubbles rising, popping, forgetting. I watched my ex-wife whisper into her new husband's ear. The man who moved into my house before my son had even faded from the sheets. The man who coached my son's little league games while I sat in parking lots, 2 minutes late and 20 feet away. She smiled at me, tight-lipped and polite, like I was a distant uncle, not the man who gave her 2 decades of my youth. The speeches began. They toasted her, her sacrifices, her love. They even toasted the dog. My son thanked his stepdad for always being there. I felt the words slip down my throat like glass. I slipped away for a moment into the hallway where the noise softened and I could finally hear my own heartbeat. I reached into my coat pocket and felt the box. Small, cold, heavy with more than just what was inside. I traced its edges, remembering every late night, every scraped knee I bandaged, every science fair I built from cardboard and caffeine, all of it unseen. I came back inside. I waited, patient, quiet, watching the night like a storm cloud waiting to fall. I didn't want revenge. I wanted truth. I wanted weight. I wanted him to see what he'd thrown away, not with anger, but clarity. And when the DJ called for the couple to cut the cake, I stepped forward just long enough to place the box on the head table. No words, just a box. He frowned, looked confused, picked it up like it might bite. People nearby turned to see. Cameras stilled. The air shifted. He opened it. Inside, folded neatly, was a copy of a letter, one he wrote at age 9 in thick, uneven pencil. "Dear Dad, I want to be just like you when I grow up. I don't want any other dad. You're my hero." Beneath it, a second sheet, a paternity test, dated 4 months ago. The name of the man seated beside his mother and the word, Father. The silence didn't break. It shattered. You could hear it. The breathless, stunned collapse of every assumption in that room. He blinked twice, looked from the letter to paper, and then up at me, his face cracking in places that had never known doubt. My ex-wife stood slowly, color draining, her lips parted but no words came. The new husband stared stiff, like he'd been caught mid-theft. The dog barked absurdly, as if trying to reclaim attention from the unraveling of an entire lie. I stepped forward, just one step. "I always stayed in the background," I said softly, not because I was small, but because I was trying to let you shine. He opened his mouth, maybe to argue, maybe to beg, but I had given him everything already. My silence had been loyalty, my distance mercy. He stood up, knocked over a chair, called after me, but I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. The truth had already taken my place. I left before the cake was cut, before the music restarted, before apologies could soften into excuses. I didn't want vengeance. I wanted weight. I wanted him to remember the moment the floor dropped out, and he realized who held him all those years. Not the man beside his mother. Me. Outside, the sky was turning violet. That wedding hall glowed behind me, a lantern full of ghosts. I got in my car, drove 5 hours through the night. Didn't stop once. Somewhere past midnight, I pulled over, stepped out into the cold, and screamed once, not in pain, but in release. A long, low sound I'd been swallowing for years. He'll reach out someday, when the lies catch up, when the dog dies, when that letter he wrote becomes more real than the speeches made in my absence. But I won't be waiting. I'll be living. Because the truth is, some seats aren't denied, they're declined. And sometimes, leaving the room is how you finally take your place.